Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox, and I'm coming to you today with a review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 8, Episode 11. So, it is Martin Luther King Day. So, happy Martin Luther King Day to all of the Roxstars out there. Hopefully, you guys are all remembering the reason for the season. I'm off today, thank God for Martin Luther King in so many ways. So, yeah, I'm going to try to hurry up and get through this video so I can get back in the house and watch the King Day festivities that they do out here in Atlanta every year. Always a joy to sit and watch the program at, Ebenezer Baptist Church out here where the King family attended. So anyway, you guys, Real Housewives of Atlanta, let's get to it, shall we? So since this was Martin Luther King, the weekend, I guess Bravo and the producers decided to make this Real Housewives of Atlanta about the anniversary of the Million Man March. I think it was the 20th anniversary, 20th or the 20th. I think it's the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March in Washington, D.C. So this was their, this was their attempt at the show not being just trivial and about bitches arguing and fighting all the time. This was also Phaedra's time to shine. She's the lawyer. She is the person that is very active in the community. She has 2 boys that she's trying to raise on her own, and she wants them to be strong black men. So she thought that this would be a perfect opportunity for her to get up there and just be a part of the experience. We also can't forget that she has her foundation, Saving Our Sons. So this is kind of a 2-for-1 for her to get up there and be a part of the process, be a part of the movement, but also to schmooze with the political leaders up there and hopefully connect with a mentor as well as other people who can help push her foundation along. Okay, so she's going up to DC. She's got Mr. President, Mr. New Year's Eve with her. She's taking along Kim Fields, okay, and Kim's babies, also Portia, also Sheree. Sheree's son is going to join us later. I was like, ooh, that son, no, he didn't turn out to be a cutie, because y'all remember how y'all talked about that boy so bad back in the day. Anyway, he turned out to be a really good looking kid. Anyways, before we get on up to Washington, D.C., we do get a call from Apollo, okay, who is an inmate at a federal prison. Made sure they left that part in. Apollo, he's trying to discipline and co-parent as well as he can from prison. However, I don't know. I guess at this age, the child will listen because he still sees his dad as an authority figure. We'll see how that turns out in some years down the line as the kids get older and as Apollo's influence is not as strong. Okay, but whatever. Phaedra says that, she lets the boys talk to him, as much as she can. I don't know what that means. Now, when everybody gets to DC, we see that Phaedra has her team with her makeup team, her hair team. Okay, I'm assuming people to help with the kids. She's making sure that everything runs smoothly for all the things that she wants to do. It's important to note that Kim did not travel with the rest of them, okay? Instead, her flight got in sometime around 2 o'clock in the morning. And when we see Kim, it's a totally different picture. It is her. She says she's very much hands-on with her boys. And, she's taking care of her boys the best way that she can for this trip. As soon as she said that they didn't get in until 2 o'clock in the morning, I was like, oh, that's not good, okay? Because you didn't get in until 2, your kids didn't get to sleep till 3, and then you're up in the morning and trying to get ready for the day. I was like, yeah, that's already going to be a disaster. I have 2 kids. I know how that shit goes. Phaedra, she's dressed to impress. Okay, all the girls are getting on the bus. They've got the kids with them. They're waiting on Kim. Kim is taking a long time. She finally talks to Phaedra and says, you know what, I'm going to have to catch up with you guys later because we just got in and, still trying to get everything together. So Phaedra says, okay, well, I'll leave a car for you because I've got to get on with my day. Phaedra's meeting with Congresswoman Wilson. Okay, I think she was the Congresswoman for Florida. This is the person that she wants to mentor her as she, because Congresswoman Wilson has a foundation. I forgot the name of it, you guys. I didn't write it down, but something that Phaedra wants to mirror her foundation after. So while we're all kind of just meeting the Congresswoman for the first time, Kim, she finally makes it there with her 2 boys. Okay. So we sit down in the room and we've got Sheree. Sheree's son hasn't made it there, but we've got Sheree, we've got Phaedra, we've got her 2 boys, we've got Portia. got Kim. We got Kim's two boys. Okay, so we all in the room, and there's other people in there as well. Congresswoman is starting the conversation off real deep. Okay, and she's just basically talking about how black men don't have respect in the communities today, that they're not expected to succeed. Instead, they are expected to fail. They're set up for failure. Even said that one black boy happened to ask her, where were the prison for the white people? You guys, I'm not laughing. But you know, it was such heavy conversation. Of course, it definitely fit where they were. I mean, this is the Million Man March. I mean, we need to remember the reason why we're there. However, Kim is listening to this whole conversation, and she's just like, she was looking at her kids, and I was thinking that maybe because the kids was cutting up over there, but she pulled the kids out the room, and she just told us that, you know, she didn't think that this was appropriate conversation for her children. This was not conversation that her children needed to know at the time, and, you know, she didn't want them to have to hear that. I guess whatever she felt that she needed to explain about the social injustices and the civil injustices that black men face at her own pace, okay? And I get that. Phaedra tells us that she doesn't have the luxury of not explaining to her boys because, well, the boys are faced with a real life situation of their daddy being in jail, okay? So I guess Phaedra's kids and Kim's kids are in two different places, and I could kind of understand both sides. But I knew from that moment on that this trip was not going to be what Kim needed. Now, after they leave there, they go to another place. There's more Congress people there, you know, political, you know, schmoozing, whining, dining. They're going to sit down to eat lunch. And Kim's kids is fucking over it. Okay, Sebastian is just complaining. You know, I get the impression that he might be one of those kids that's kind of a, you know, kind of a drag, you know, but he's also like an 8-year-old kid. I mean, this stuff right here, I don't know why they all thought that, you know, the kids would be okay, even though, you know, Mr. President, Mr. New Year's Eve was fine, but you got to remember that those two kids have been around the camera their whole lives, okay? They've been around all of this. They're more comfortable. They're more used to being in the spotlight. They know how they need to act, even as little kids, okay? Kim's kids ain't been in this shit, so Sebastian's just like, oh my God, we're going somewhere else, or somewhere I don't even want to see this. Like, who cares? I was cracking up. He reminded me of my little god baby Darius. I'm telling you, the same expressions, the same mouthiness. Yeah, he's... But you know, they're trying to take these kids all around, and the kids, like I said, they're tired. They are over it. They don't want to be a part of this, okay? And Kim, because she doesn't really want to be a part of it either, she's turned off, you know, she leaves out again. This time she goes into the van, and she stays in the van. Phaedra and them are kind of like, well, where is she? What is she doing? And Sheree takes the liberty of going out there to find out what was going on. I thought it was kind of bad that nobody was really trying to understand Kim's situation. I don't know if in reality Kim was making it more than it was, you know, but in the way that they edited it, it made it seem like them kids were just all over the place and Kim couldn't handle them. But the way everybody else was reacting, they made it seem like Kim was the one that was just overreacting, and that if you would have just told them damn kids to shut up and sit their fucking ass down some damn where, that maybe it wouldn't have turned out that way. I'm not really sure. You know, like I said, this just wasn't for Kim and her kids. So Sheree was trying to tell her to come back in. She was like, I'll come back in, you know, once I get my kids under control. But if I don't get them under control, we ain't coming back in. The next day, Million Man March, all of a sudden Kim has a leukemia fundraising event that she has to host in Atlanta, so she's got to hurry up and get back. We all know what that was about. It didn't make sense that you go all the way out there for the Million Man March and then you leave before the damn Million Man March even happens. That was because she was over it. Her kids was over it. Okay, she couldn't handle it. You know, I guess her and her husband usually are work as a team with these kids. Maybe it is time to, you know, kind of look into getting some help. There's a lot going on with the production of a television show. Your children don't know how to react to all of this. Maybe you need some more help. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But they get out there, they get to the Million Man March. Like I said, you know, Phaedra, she's happy to be there. She introduces some of the ladies to women who have lost their sons to violence in the communities, either from the police or, from wherever. So I guess this was Bravo's way of reminding us that, this was MLK weekend. They're more than just a reality show of a bunch of bickering women. That Real Housewives of Atlanta is socially conscious, and that they will take the time to educate us on what goes on in the Black community. So you guys, that's pretty much it with that. What do you guys think about Kim and Phaedra and all of that? Did you guys understand how Kim felt? Did you think that maybe she just needed to plan this out a little differently? Do you think that the girls was not really all that sympathetic to her issues? Maybe they could have helped. Y'all leave y'all comments about all that below. Now, Kenya's thing continued. I thought that it was going to continue with her being still in Detroit, but she's back home. She's at her house. She said that nothing's been done since she's been gone, so she has to go there and, kind of crack the whip. Cynthia comes down there to visit. Okay, I guess Cynthia thought that the house was going to be a little bit further along in its building stages than it is. So, she was just kind of like, girl, you sure am I going to have to make sure that you have a damn blow-up bed and a hot plate over there in the corner? Anyway, they get over in the corner and they get to talking about the trip to Detroit. Kenya tells her exactly what happened with the mom not opening the door, and Cynthia's just so upset about it. She can't even imagine that, her and Noel would have this type of relationship. Like I said last week, it's hard to even relate to this kind of story if you've never been in it. It's hard for me to really express how I feel about this whole thing. But what we understand is that, Kenya is still upset about it. She's upset that her aunt left, and that she just kind of feels like, her family is totally against her, even though her dad's side was there for her. Okay, and she does recognize that her dad was all that she needed, so what, good for her. Kenya has to have a conversation with old Auntie Cisco, okay? And sure enough, Auntie Cisco and her daughter come over to Kenya's house, and this was probably the realest scene that I've ever seen Kenya really in since she's been on the show. It lets you know that there is some validity to this whole story. You could tell. You could kind of feel the tension in the room. You could tell that her aunt was very uncomfortable with what needed to be said, and everybody was really emotional. What it all boiled down to, you guys, was that the aunt felt like Kenya overstepped her boundaries by going over there with the camera crew, knocking on the door and expecting her mother to open the door. And that was the reason why the aunt left the family reunion, because her sister called her and was just like, can you believe that this girl came up to this house with this camera crew wanting me to open the door? That's what we discussed last week. Her Aunt Lori was not comfortable with what Kenya was doing. Kenya still doesn't understand why her family is not on her side. Her aunt had to make it very clear to her, like, listen, even though I really love you, I really love my sister too. It has never been anything that I wanted to be in the middle of. My sister, she had a right to give you up, and she did. That meant that she didn't want to have any more contact with you. And for you to try to force yourself on her is not cool. But Kenya doesn't see it that way. Kenya's like, we're around each other, we are at different functions, and she refuses to even acknowledge me. So I guess it's just difficult for Kenya to be around the lady and see the lady, and for her biological mom to not even take the time to even give a bitch a hi. But, like I said, it's a lot of things that's probably happened over the years. I know that I looked it up on the internet, and I saw there's a people.com old interview or something when she was just winning her crown for Miss America, and her mother did try to reach out to her then, and she said she didn't want anything to do with her. And I'm imagining there's been a whole lot of this back and forth between the two of them over the years, till finally the mom was just sort of like, forget it. And not saying that the mom is right or wrong, I'm just saying that the woman does not want to have a relationship with Kenya, and as hurtful as it can be, and as hard as it is to understand for those of us who have good relationships with our parents, with our mothers. This is a situation where this person doesn't have a good relationship with their mother. So it's just time to let it go. And that's what her aunt told her. You need to move on. It's never going to be what you want it to be. And her cousin was just like, you want a mother so bad, I've been sharing mine with you the whole time. You can have her. So yeah, it's a sad story for Kenya, and hopefully, she'll do whatever she got to do to get past this. But yeah, I think that, and like the rest of us have all said, I think that she needs to just move along. You cannot force somebody to want to be your mother. You guys, Candy and Todd trying to open this restaurant. They want to open a restaurant featuring Candy's, her mom and her aunt's recipes, okay, because they're such good cooks. And they want to name the shit Old Lady Gang. It's just like, see, why do niggas... Who comes up with these fucking... Old Lady Gang, really? I mean, it's just... Todd thinks it's a good idea, and he wants to, see if they would all be down with it, and Candy was just like, well, they've all got up in age, and I don't really want them to be out there cooking and doing all this all the time. He was just like, no, they don't have to do nothing other than do PR for it, get out there, shake hands, take pictures, shoot the little commercials or whatever we gonna have, and they need to come up off them recipes. Well, when are you going to tell the family that you want to do this? And he was just like, you know what, we gonna tell them soon enough. Okay, so they have a dinner. All of the family is there. Candy says now that she's pregnant, Joyce is trying really hard to be nice to Todd. I think it's more so that Joyce suffered quite a bit of backlash when Todd's mother died, and now she realized she took that shit too far, and she's trying to make herself look better. So anyway, she's just like, Todd, I love you. Whatever she said, everybody was just like, okay, you're doing a little too much for these cameras, Auntie Joyce. But they sit down, and that's when Todd lets the family know that he wants to open this restaurant called the Old Lady Gang. And that's when Bertha was just like, I don't cook. Honey, Aunt Bertha was like, damn it, you ain't fixing to be working me to death and then don't want to give me no fucking money. You know how you guys so bad with this damn money. Aunt Nora and even Joyce are both with it. Aunt Nora, I get the impression that Aunt Nora will go whichever way the rest of her sisters will. She's just so sweet to me. She was just like, well, I'm kind of all right with it. From what I understand, you guys, this restaurant is really happening. And I'm cool with the restaurant if that's what they want to do. They say that it's supposed to be opening in February. I don't know. I guess we got that to see. I mean, Candy just had the baby and she had a C-section, and you guys know how much that kind of slows you down. So I don't really know if that's really what's happening in February. But, they say that this restaurant is opening. I saw the little poster for it, kind of made it look like an old wanted poster. It was a cute enough idea. I just hate the name. Okay? So that's it, you guys. Old Lady Gang coming to Atlanta soon. Will you be joining them there? They saved the best for last. And literally, they saved it for last. I knew that they were going to do that. I was actually surprised that they gave us a good 10, 11, 12 minutes of Nene. But yeah, we see Cynthia running around the house trying to get it prepared, okay? Kind of reminiscent of Mr. and Celie in the fucking Color Purple when Suge Avery was coming home. That bitch was so fucking excited. I was just like, oh, bless her heart, you guys. I mean, what can you say? Cynthia really loves Nene. Okay, and she really wants that friendship to work. I felt good for her that, it finally was happening, even though I don't know if it was because of what Bravo decided or if it was because what Cynthia and Nene decided. At any rate, Nene gets there, okay, and the bitch is just so funny because she is just so shady. She was just like, I could just see Candy's face now, okay, just like, how Candy's face. I was just like, no, it's more like this. It was good to see Nene, you guys. I'm sorry. The show has been boring. Now, it's been entertaining, meaning that I've been able to watch it every week, but it hasn't been anything that has stuck with anybody, which is fine for me because really I was tired of all of the extremely hurtful and hateful drama that they've had for the last few seasons. So I've been fine with it this season. Y'all heard I ain't even complained at all, right? But a lot of other people are complaining because they feel like the fire has left the show. The fire meaning Nene. Okay, so Nene comes and she got old Grandpa Leaks with her. It was just a good time. I was happy to see her. They both were talking about how their relationship took a turn for the worse, and then they both said some hurtful ass shit. And then Nene was so mad that she couldn't get over it. She was kind of like, fuck everybody, and that's when she decided to leave the show. And then she got into a better place. Cynthia has always been in the place that Nene has been in. Okay, Cynthia been ready to fix this shit, but Nene got into a better place and decided that, you know what, she's willing to give her friendship with Cynthia another try. So I don't know, you guys. It was good to see her. I don't really know how much she's going to be on these last few episodes. I mean, I guess they probably have about 10 more episodes to go, 10, 9, somewhere in there. But I know the Nene haters out there was just like, whatever. Welcome back, Nene. We'll see if she makes any differences in how, blah the show has been this season. Alright, you guys, that's it. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is for itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. Alright. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, Roxstars. Bye.